Okay, I'm back with Lofty, and I'm going to start by trying to get the oil out and see what's in the bottom of the sump. So we're going to crack off this drain pipe which goes straight up to the sump, because the sump's above the axle. We'll see what comes out. See what comes out. I'm expecting a load of water. Yeah, that is water, and that is tar. That's how fast it's coming out. That's the state of it. And off to the side, you can see the water coming out of it, but that is some thick, manky gunk. So I think we'll just leave that for a while and see what comes out, how much comes out. Right, I'm going to try and get out this stuck injector. I've got a tie lever wedged against the head, and I'm just sort of putting some weight on the tie lever, trying to sort of force the injector up while I'm tapping it with a hammer, giving it a bit of a shot. I'm not whacking it really hard, just tapping it to see if it'll move. But unfortunately my lever keeps slipping out. I've got to try and find a bit better position where I can put some weight on the lever without it flying out and prise up the injector. So I'm coming at a slightly different angle now, and I've managed to get myself, that's in there, a bit better now. I managed to get myself, so I've actually got all my weight on this lever, and I'm trying to rock up and down on the lever in time with my hammer blows, just to try and break free this injector. If you listen carefully, you'll hear the note change from a ringing to more of a duff. This is a sign the injector's starting to move. It comes out and I fall all over the engine off that lever. When it comes out, it's still got the copper sleeve. The injector is seized into that copper sleeve. That copper sleeve actually forms part of the water jacket in the head. If you look down inside the injector hole, look, you can see the void in the, you see the top of the casting there, and then there's a void before it goes down and sits on top of the combustion chamber. This fills with water in this part of the cooling jacket of the engine. Okay, starting to crack off the rocker shaft now. Just undoing that, getting the washers off. I'm going to pull that off, and then I've got access then to all of the head bolts. So set the nuts to one side, pull that rocker shaft off, put that to one side, and then I'm going to take out the push rods. Now what I'm going to do is I'm rattling all the push rods so the cam followers drop off the end of them, because sometimes they can stick to the end of the push rod and you pull it all out together. So give them a rattle, you'll feel it drop off, and then get all your push rods out. Now on top of each valve is a little wear cap that the rocker runs against. Just going to pop those off. If you notice, I've got a valve that's lower than all the others. That one is seized in the open position. That could cause me a problem. Okay, I'm going to go around now, undo all these head bolts, get them all out. Got a nut there that's sort of a bit damaged. I might have damaged that with the tie lever when I was trying to get the injector out. Knock the socket on it. And get all these nut studs out. And then we're going to try and see if we can break the head free off the block once I've got all these nuts off the studs or the studs out. Some studs, the nuts are seized on there, so the whole stud's coming out. Other nuts, just other studs have just got the nuts coming off the end of them, so then they're staying in the block. So it's a bit of a mixture of both. We'll see how we get on. Okay, I've got all the nuts sort of finger tight. Some of them are a bit tight all the way up the thread, so I'm having to use my ratchet to wind them all the way off. We're nearly there now. That one came out with the stud already, you see, and then this one I think comes out with just the nut off the end, is it? Yeah, just the nut. Now I've got my tie lever in between the bottom of the head and the top of the block, and I'm just trying to break that head free off of the face of the block, and it is stuck down there real well. It's a bit awkward trying to find levering points to get it to move, but it's seized. Now it's either seized with the face of the head on the face of the block, but you can see it's actually starting to move, so it's probably seized on a couple of those studs. Now I've realised that I've got to get this thermostat housing out the way so that I can lift the head clear up off of the studs. So I've given it everything a good dose in some freon oil. I'm going to start trying to undo some Jubilee clips. Okay, got a bit more freon oil around some nuts and bolts on the back of that thermostat housing, and they've actually come undone. So I'm undoing that, and then I'm hoping that I can break it off of the top hose fitting on the radiator, because that's come loose, and I'll be able to move the thermostat housing out the way. With all those nuts and bolts out, give it a few friendly taps with the hammer just to try and break it free of its gasket and get this hose off, and then hopefully that should come out the way. Now with that hose off, with a bit of help from a screwdriver, I can just pull that thermostat housing. Just got a couple more taps just to get it to come off, and it's moving in there, so it should come off. Just cut this cable tie that's holding one of the heater hoses in place to give me a bit more free movement on the hoses, and that piece there pulls off, and I can just fold it around and get it out of the way. You can see a piece there poking up above the head. This is part that bolts onto the housing. I've got to move that out of the way as well. I'm going to get a load of penetration oil to try and start running down the holes that the studs are in, just so that I can try and get it to break free off the studs that it's stuck on. Okay, with a lot of wiggling and jiggling with tie levers, screwdrivers and other stuff, it is all actually now starting to move. So just going to see if I can lift it off. It's not a massive head, but it is heavy. It's made out of cast iron, and it is still sort of like how sort of stuck in place, where some of the gaskets stuck to the head, some of the gaskets stuck to the block, but it is wriggling around to move. It's sort of trying to, as I'm getting it up a little bit, I'm just trying to get a screwdriver in there to stop it dropping all the way back down, and we'll just keep going. It'll come off. Okay, I've got to get off this part of the thermostat housing where the heater hose goes onto it. I've slackened off the Jubilee clip, and I'm going to pull that off out the way. That just gives me a clear run so I can lift the head straight up when it comes off. Now it's just a case of brute force and ignorance, and keep on wiggling. See, it is coming up slowly, and as it comes up, I've got to try and get underneath it and pick the gasket off to free it. So that's what the screwdriver's for. Just going in between it, where the gasket's sort of stuck to the head or the block, and just trying to sort of pick it off and flick it down. Okay, so now it's got it up quite a bit. It's just a case of getting a really good grip of it. Like I say, it is quite heavy, and keep working it up and off those studs. And here it comes. See the head gasket still holding me up, but it's off. Oh dear. This is what it looks like with the head off, and if you wondered what I said oh dear at, I saw that. This at the moment doesn't look very good. Could this be the end of Lofty, or is there something we can do with it? We'll have to see. I'll speak to the people that own it and see how much further they want to go. This is the state of the head on that rusty piston. Look, not very good, is it? Okay, well, Lofty's in bits, and I'm gonna have to try and see what else I can do with it. But at the moment it's not looking very good, I'm afraid. If you liked what you've watched, give me a thumbs up. If you want to watch more, then subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and you just get a notification to say when I put another video up. If you want to sort of keep up with any progress of anything I'm doing, I will hopefully get back to doing some more work on my boat very soon. And until the next time, thanks for watching. Ta-da.